Hello everybody, Jason Napalm here. I'm a born again Christian. I've been saved for over 32 years now. I've been involved in church leadership in a local Pentecostal church. I've done high street evangelism for many years and have a fair experience with God and the supernatural side of Christianity and also the intellectual sides as well. What I just want to share with you today is obviously because getting more people watching my videos now, they may want to know a bit about my background. My testimony is on another video, which if anyone's interested to tell me, and I will send that to you. But today I just want to explain to you the angle that I come at to the Bible and to Christianity in general, and how I talk to people about God. Well, what I've got here is some certificates, as you can see. I've got one here with a red circle, that's psychotherapy. The one next to it is the just got to get that in the screen, neuropsychology and neuroplasticity. The one on the end is my wife's one in autism. And so that's my academic background of psychology and stuff. There we go. Of psychology, not only psychology, but also how the brain works and how habits can be broken and stuff like that. So I've counselled people, and I don't rely on counselling as a science to help people, but I rely on God, number one. And so therefore, if I'm to talk to someone, to pray for someone, or to counsel them, immediately I will go to the Lord and say, Lord, you know what's wrong with this person. You know how I can help this person. I'll pray for you for revelation, for guidance and direction, for wisdom from your word. And that's how I go about it. And then also I say, Lord, you know that I've learned these psychological skills and therapeutic skills and have my life experiences that can help. If you choose to use them, then help me to be able to use them for your glory. So I mix the physical, the spiritual and the psychological in my Christian life. I haven't got a ministry, so in my life when talking to people about the Lord and stuff. Also, I've spent a lot of time over the last 30 years studying the languages of the Bible, such as Latin, Hebrew, Greek. I can't speak them, but I do have the dictionaries and resources that can help me go back and look into the original languages and find out exactly what words were used. You know, what words were used in this situation. Does the word that was used back in the New Testament, is it still mean the same now? A little example I'll give you is in the King James in Isaiah 53 verse 4 and 5. It says, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten of God and afflicted. Okay, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Now the word borne means to carry away, grief and sorrow. Okay, let's look at what the word grief and sorrow means now. If I said to you, you're grieved, what would you mean? What would that mean? To me, it means grieved, means troubled, disturbed. You're giving me grievance, you're causing me grief. Grief can also be sadness. It can be like deep, sort of like grief is in losing someone. Sorrow, if I said you, are you sorrowful? You'd feel sad. You'd feel like mourning, you'd feel like crying. Griefs and sorrows. Surely he has borne our griefs and our sorrows. Okay? Now, the word grief and sorrow back in the 16th century meant pain. Grief meant pain, sorrow meant sickness. See how completely different that is? And so, and we find if we even use an NIV, it's saying in Isaiah 53 verse 4, surely he has took our pains and carried our sicknesses. Okay? Surely he has took our pain, what was known as grief, and our sicknesses, what was known as sorrows. So it is really essential if we're teaching from the Bible, okay? If you're just reading the Bible for what it is, fine. Just live the average Christian life. But if you're talking about you want to teach people from the Bible, you do need to get to know the original languages, not in a way that you can speak them or become fluent in them, but you need to at least have a lexicon, a Greek dictionary, Aramaic, and stuff like that. Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, them kind of languages, and look into it and see that some of the words have changed nowadays. And so that's some of where I'm coming from. So over 30 years I've studied that. I've also studied the archaeology of the Bible. I like people like Wes Huff. Wes Huff, good man. Ken Ham, and Genesis, Answers in Genesis, and videos like that, So I've looked at the science of Christianity as well, and how certain scientific laws work and can actually confirm the existence of God's handiwork, of His creation and everything else. Seeing God's wisdom and intelligent design. Again, I'm in all to that. Christian apologetics, again, like people like Josh McDowell, Wes Huff, Sean McDowell, and other Christian apologists. I'm also big into that. Basically, anything to do with the Bible, I want to know why it's true, how it came about, how do we know we got the right translations, how do we know it hasn't been changed, and so forth. And then, obviously, when we look at things to do with biology as well, when I was doing my fitness and nutrition coursework and got my diploma in that, I learned how the body was working, and I just saw God's amazing hand in how the body works. The brain, the brain is absolutely amazing, and when you do neuropsychology and psychotherapy and neurology and studies like that, it just blows you away at how amazing the brain really is and how God created that. Now, here's a little bombshell. When I left school, I did not graduate. I didn't leave school with any qualifications whatsoever. I was diagnosed 2 years ago with autism, and when I was at school, my autism was on full blast. I was in the bottom set for most of the classes because the way that I learned, the answers were coming to my head. I could see things other people couldn't see, in the sense of like sussing out problems, And so the maths teacher would say to me, right, Jason, how did you get this answer? I said, it just come in my head. They go, no, it can't just come in your head. Write it down and show us the working out. How did you work out that was the answer? I said, I can't actually write down how I worked it out. I can't work it out. It's in my head. Is it right? Well, yes, it's right, Jason, but you need to show us how you worked it out. I can't. Then you cheated. Then you copied from someone. I'm like, no, I didn't. And the next minute, I'm throwing tables over the place, swearing at the teachers, and just storming out. Okay? I had a rough time at school. I didn't like learning because they did not know how to teach neurodiverse kids, because they didn't even know it was a thing back then. When I was at school back in the 70s and the 80s, you was a naughty kid, that's the end of it. You was asking too many questions, you wasn't doing what the teacher said, and so I was branded as a naughty boy. And got into lots of trouble. Got into trouble with the police, got into trouble for a number of things that I can't repeat on here. But nothing sordid, nothing like perverted or anything, but just regular teenage bad man stuff, stuff like that. So I wasn't always academic, and I believe that after I got born again, God increased my intelligence. I really do believe He increased my intelligence and gave me a hunger and desire to learn different things. So with my videos, I like to, with my videos, I like people to know that when I'm explaining things from the Bible, I come from a lot of sources. You may not agree with them, that's fine. And I know lots of people don't agree with, but what I do is I look at the person, I look at the person's personality, I look at the fruit of Christianity in them, and the fruit of the Spirit, and I think if this person's walking in love, they're walking in faith, they're walking in righteousness, that's good. If I see something they haven't seen, or if they see something I haven't seen and we don't agree dogmatically, I'm not going to just ditch someone just because they don't, I speak in tongues. They may say they don't believe in speaking in tongues. Fine, then we won't talk about it. That's up to them. Are they still a good Christian? Absolutely. Probably outshine me in different ways as well as a Christian. So I'm like that. I take people for how they are. You don't have to agree with me to be my friend. I'll be your friend, no matter what. Okay, unless you start getting into into dark stuff, then we're going to call it a day. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and watch any upcoming videos. In Jesus' name, I will see you again. Bye-bye.